Welcome in. You're tuned to another edition of Where the 99 Lead. It's a program about the University of Pikeville where we talk all things regarding the University of Pikeville. I'm Andrew Joyce and joined again by the Director of Admissions at the University of Pikeville, Gary Justice, as we step back into the admissions corner. And what we found is admissions takes on many different hats.
Many different hats, Andrew, not only the recruiting process, but also on their financial aid part of that admissions process as well.
Of course, parents tuned in. That's the most important part of the process. Yes, students have to choose where they want to attend, but they also have to have a way to pay for it. It's a very important part of the college process. Also joined by Matt Crisp. Let's get the title correct. Federal Work Study Coordinator and Financial Aid Counselor at the University. Matt, welcome in.
Thank you, sir. Nailed the title. Very good.
I read well. So that's part of that process. Today we talk about financial aid. Of course, it is an important process for parents. It's a huge part of the equation for parents of a college student or a rising college student, something they've talked about since the child was young. How are we going to pay for college? Because I think today most students do plan on attending college, as we find throughout Eastern Kentucky. At the University of Pikeville, Gary, we've talked about this many times. 98% of all students receive some type of financial aid, some type of assistance. There are many different opportunities for a student to take advantage, if you will, of the financial aid situation and make college affordable. But one that we've not talked about on any of these programs that I recall is the Federal Work Study program. Let's talk about that a little bit today. I know that's why Matt's here with us. We'll get deeper into that. What is the Federal Work Study program at the University of Pikeville? What does it consist of?
The Federal Work Study program is a federally funded program that gives the students an opportunity to pay for their education if they choose by working in the office on campus or off campus. I know Matt's going to touch on that a little bit later, but where those locations can be at. Being federally funded, the student does have to complete the FAFSA in order to market their interest in the Federal Work Study program. But besides help paying for education, it also gives them some work experience too. Sure. A lot of students always ask me and say, Gary, how can I get a job? They always ask for somebody with experience.
Right.
This is an opportunity for them to gain that experience while studying in college as well.
Of course, the Federal Work Study program, how long has it been around?
It's been around as long as I've been. 1992 when I started school, it was around. I'm not sure when the beginning date was, though.
I know as long as I can recall, Gary, I'm going to take it back even further because when I was in college back in the early 80s, the Federal Work Study program was around as well. There are many different ways that you could participate. I know we've talked about both on campus and off campus, and we'll get more into those as we go. But Matt, can anyone qualify for the work study program at the University of Pikeville? Is it just select students?
It is just select students for the most part. The very key step that a student first needs to do is to file the FAFSA.
Sure.
And that's the free application for federal student aid. We do a service at the University of Pikeville where we go out into the local high schools and talk with the high school counselors. We get dates set up closer to the date of when the FAFSA opens up, which is January 1st. And we have workshops, so to speak, of where we will go out and teach students, this is what you do to file the FAFSA. There's actually a question on the FAFSA that asks, is the student interested in work study? And of course, we want them to check yes to that. I did bring a few toys here with me today.
Very good.
We have the 001980 card from UPike, and that is our student code, our code that you put in on the FAFSA. And this is something that we present to the students when we go out and talk to them. It gives you step by step on what the student needs to do in order to complete that. We will even have night workshops to where we go back out, and this is very important because a lot of students are there during the day, and they're thinking more about maybe prom or senior trip, those type things.
Typical teenage things.
Exactly. So we also provide a service at night to where the parents can come out, and we're there with the parents. I did one workshop last year where I was actually helping students and parents actually complete the FAFSA at that point. So that's the first step. It is based on their EFC. which stands for Estimated Family Contribution.
Sure.
And that's the number that the government says that the student's family should have available to pay for their education.
Right.
At the University of Pikeville, their EFC can't exceed the cost of our tuition in order to qualify for the work-study program.
Need-based.
Need-based, correct.
Not necessarily low income, but there are a lot of middle-income families out there that may have more than one student in college. They are in that zone of federal aid versus income tax bracket that they fall into, and a lot of times students, they'll receive federal aid while they come from a middle income family, and yet they still have an ability to help pay for college with the work-study program. I think it's a tremendous program. Let's back up just a moment, because there may be someone tuned who has a college senior rising, who maybe it's their first student hitting college. And the FAFSA form, I think, is so important and a little intimidating for those that have never done it, because you only do it when you have students that are entering college or in college at the time. I'm speaking from a parent's perspective, because that first time, a little intimidating, but it's changed. It's been made very simple now.
Yes.
It's online. It can be done online. The PIN code, which is I've learned is very important.
Yes.
It can be done online. But the FAFSA form is federal financial aid form that all aid, all scholarships go through.
Correct.
That must be completed, but it can't be done until January 1st. The code that you have, I want you to pull it up again, because it's really, really important. If someone's considering the University of Pikeville, they need this code. They don't have BCRs anymore, do they? But they do have DVRs.
Yes.
You want to record this, and we want to make sure that we get this code. It's 001980. That's the code for the University of Pikeville. And when completing the FAFSA form, that code is so important if the University of Pikeville is on their mind for financial aid. Gary, federal work-study programs at the University of Pikeville, how are they awarded?
There's awarded, first of all, the step is completing the FAFSA and the free application for federal student aid. And there's actually a question on the FAFSA marks, are you interested in federal work-study program? And once that is marked and they go to the school they're choosing, hopefully it's University of Pikeville, and they have a coordinator on campus. That's what Matt does on our campus. Sure. And they'll do an interview with the student to make sure they can place them in the proper place. And what Matt does, and does a really good job at, is try to place that student inside of that major. But maybe they're a nursing major, he tries to place them with nursing. If there's somebody who's wanting to go in education, try to give them some type of forum where they can use that, see if that's actually the major they want to go in. So it's kind of a nice thing to kind of test that major, make sure you're choosing the right major as well.
It's a tough choice for 17, 18, 19-year-olds to know what they want to do in life, and sometimes that major choice is a tough decision. You're tuned to Where the 99 Lead. We're with the Director of Admissions, Gary Justice, with the University of Pikeville, and Matt Crisp, Federal Work Study Coordinator and a Financial Aid Counselor. Parents, an important guy on campus, because he helps you figure out ways to pay for it. Students, potential students, he's one that your parents will learn to appreciate, because you've got to pay for it. How many hours per week can a student work in the work-study program? What type of pay do they receive? Well,
Andrew, at the University of Pikeville, the award amount ranges from $500 to $2,000, and it's based upon the need for the student. The maximum amount of hours per week they can work is 20 hours per week, which is, you break it down, a lot of people think it's just a 5-day work week, and they think, well, it's 4 hours a day, how am I going to do that? Actually, they can use all 7 days, because the library is open most of those days. They can work in the cafeteria, that type of thing. But the maximum is 20 hours. Typically, they're anywhere from 10 to 13 hours per week. And the work-study program, I know sometimes people they hear 10 to 13 hours per week. When I'm supposed to study, I play a sport, what I'm supposed to do. Right. When I'm supposed to study for class, I'm a student. And the work-study program is that. You know, you're there to try to learn a work skill, not a skill, but just that experience of working.
Sure.
But if they're downtime in the office, and we have work studies in the admissions office, if we have downtime, they're allowed to bring their books and study during that time as well.
It's a very good program, the Federal Work Study Program. And Matt, now the fun part. What types of jobs are out there? Students tuned in, parents tuned in, they're curious. Okay, we've got this work study. What's my student going to be doing this fall or down the road? What type of jobs are out there?
We have set up for jobs that are either on or off campus. The one key is that it does have to be a nonprofit organization in order for me to place the student within a certain location.
Right.
But we have jobs that range from anywhere. Today I placed a student who is going to be a nursing major. She's pre-nursing with the nursing department, so she's going to be over there helping them out and kind of, in her case, getting her feet wet and used to what she's going to be doing on a daily basis coming up in a couple of years. Placed a student with intramural sports today, so he's going to be reffing and doing that skill set with his supervisor. We have partnerships with Pikeville Medical Center, the Southeast Kentucky Chamber of Commerce that's off campus, admissions and financial aid. The key is that it is a dual benefit program. Like Gary said, the students are learning hopefully a skill set that they can take out and, like I've heard on this show before, back down the 99 and out into the community. Sure. While at the same time the university is doing some things that we couldn't do without these student helpers, workers type deal.
Absolutely. Of course, where the 99 lead, we talk about those historic 99 steps that lead to campus. They lead from campus back into the community, and I guess this happens on a daily basis, not just upon graduation, but you talk about Pikeville Medical Center, one of the largest healthcare providers in the region. And I know there are a lot of nursing students that are placed there.
Yes.
There are a lot of students from the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine that end up there. So you're telling me that an incoming freshman can come in, get some work study hours, and find out what that environment is like at one of the largest, I guess, one of the largest employers in our region as well. So they can get those work study hours there because it is a non-profit.
Yes. We'll have a young gentleman that's working there, so he's finding out what his future is going to be like, on a either 9 to 5 type deal or even after hours clinic and that type deal, working and getting some hands-on experience, and also something that he can use on his resume for when he does apply to med school or pharmacy school or things like that.
I think it's very important that students may find that it's not an environment they want to work in. I think it can be an extreme positive. Yeah, I nailed it. This is what I need to do. But it also can be someone steps into something they don't want to do. Gary, I think about the athletes and get their work study hours around a sport. You talk about officiating intramural sports. Someone may find out very quickly they don't want to be an official of any kind after they officiate some of those intramural sports.
Yes.
But it can be a huge positive as well. They're able to stay around the sports that they love. And intramural sports are a very important part of the college experience. And I know a lot of great friendships earned there.
Yes. And
someone can pick up some valuable experience. How many current students in the program?
Currently, we have right at 170-ish students, and have awarded over $300,000 this year alone within the work study program. That is a little bit over our current budget, but we'll have some students that might not work out their full award or things like that.
Sure.
We are currently accepting waiting lists. I have students that might see the program today and are interested in the work study program, or parents for that matter.
Right.
And what I do in that case is, while I can't bring anybody else new in at this point, the students can come in and fill out a waiting list form. That's where I go in case I have a Stacy or an Amber drop out of the program. Then I can maybe bring somebody else in.
Am I correct? Is that about 10% of the student population?
Yes.
10%, maybe a little higher.
A little bit higher
than the student population. $300,000, you say, has already been dedicated to the program. These are federal dollars.
Yes.
And dictated by the federal program.
It is a Title IV program that starts with the FAFSA, yes.
All right. Gary, what are some of the students' benefits from the federal work study program?
Well, there's several different benefits, Andrew. First of all, they learn time management. They learn the responsibility of showing up for a job. They also, another benefit is try to lessen the amount of student debt they have upon graduating from the University of Pikeville as well. But one of the key things you guys have already touched on a little bit is that connection to the community. Maybe it is somebody they work at the Southeast Chamber of Commerce and they get connected, and that leads into full-time employment. So what better benefit of a program that can pay for school, teach you time management along with give you some work experience, and then hopefully lead to full-time employment as well.
Let's talk from an employer's perspective. There are a lot of nonprofit organizations out there. I understand you're at budget for this year, but I would imagine there might be a nonprofit organization somewhere in our region that in the future might be interested in utilizing this program to take a University of Pikeville student in the Federal Work-Study program under their wings to maybe become acquainted with that college student, get some help for their nonprofit organization, get some work done that they need in their organization, but it also might be a place for a potential hire as well, because those folks, while they are nonprofits, they do pay salaries as well. If a nonprofit organization is out there and they wanted to be a part of the program in the future, who should they contact?
They can contact me and Matthew Crisp, 606-218-5257. It's as simple as signing a supervisor agreement, another off-campus agreement that they can look over and sign, which is good for 5 years. And then at that point, I would love for anybody that's watching the program to contact me, because I still need places for students. You know, we've got our work-study budget / students have grown, and you know, there's only so many students that I can send to the admissions department or the financial aid department, because we want the students to learn a skill and not necessarily be, you know, idle hands. So I need as many organizations as I can, and anybody that's interested. I've tried to make the process very simple to get signed up, and be more than happy to help guide them through that process.
Okay, there's the plea. The Federal Work-Study program at the University of Pikeville, yeah, the dollars have already been allocated, and if you're a nonprofit organization out there off campus, outside the University of Pikeville campus, and you're interested in utilizing the program this year, they could still do that.
Very much so, yes.
You have students that could work for them this year.
Right. I actually haven't placed the students yet. That's something that's going to be done over the next couple of weeks. So if anybody out there is interested, we can make that happen.
Talking with Matt Crisp, the Federal Work-Study Coordinator, and he's also a financial aid counselor at the University of Pikeville. Gary Justice, the Director of Admissions, as we take another step into the admissions corner at the University of Pikeville and where the 99 lead. Heavily focused on admissions over the last several weeks, but it's an important time of year for admissions. Gary, something we've heard about since, I guess, spring. Of course, the K4CS scholarship program, extension campuses getting cranked up. They're in place. They're anticipating registration through, you'll give me the dates again, they're around the middle of August.
Yes, the extension campus open registration is going to be August 13th and the 14th. We're actually going to go out to those particular campuses, so we're bringing the University of Pikeville to those campuses on August the 13th. It's going to be in our southern campuses. We'll be in Bell, Harlan, Letcher counties. It'll be on the community college campuses in those counties. Also, then August 14th, we'll be in Johnson, Floyd, and Knott. So it's going to be open registration 9 until 5. All thing student needs to do is come by and fill out some paperwork for us.
For months, we've talked about the K4CS scholarship and what it is, who it's for, what it provides. But if someone's tuned in today, for the first time, they've heard about the K4CS scholarship. Who's it for? What does it provide? Who's eligible? And how can they find out more?
Well, the first thing you want to do is contact the financial aid office of the university, and contact Matt or Judy Bradley, our director, and they can tell you if you have everything in place. First thing I do is fill out the FAFSA. Have to have 60 hours of college credit,
Sure.
and then attend the University of Pikeville or another school in a baccalaureate attainment, baccalaureate achieving degree. It's as simple as that. There's no other paperwork. There's no other. It's not need based. It's you got to graduate from a high school in one of the 9 coal-producing counties. And I always have to divide these up by different sections, Andrew, to try to keep track of everything.
I'm not sure. I've heard them a lot, but I'm not sure I could rattle those off either.
So you have Bell, Harlan, Letcher. So this is students who have graduated from high schools in these counties.
Yes.
Bell, Harlan, and Letcher. Johnson, Floyd, Knott, Pike, and Johnson. No, I said Johnson twice.
Pike and Floyd.
Magoffin. I forgot Magoffin. Magoffin, Martin, Knott, Johnson, Floyd, Letcher, Bell, and Harlan.
9 coal-producing counties. Yes,
Yes.
we know there are more than those 9 counties that produce coal, but in the initial program, these are the 9 counties, and a student must be a graduate of one of a high school in one of those counties or a GED from one of those counties.
It is from one of those counties. It's where you're a resident of when you achieve your GED. Yes.
60 college credit hours completed. It's a completion scholarship to allow folks to go in and complete their college education. Scholarships are out there. Scholarships mean they are not paid back. It's not a loan. It's something that state government has put in place to assist coal students from coal-producing counties. Now, have any students been awarded the K4CS scholarship to date, Matt? And what's the response been?
Well, I've got to get my notes so I can get this number right, because it's kind of hard to believe. But so far to date, we have awarded over $690,000
Wow.
To approximately 200 students.
Wow.
And I just, I can't believe that we've had this kind of response. It's been unreal. The students are excited about it. As I was leaving the office today, there was a young lady up there who was inquiring about the K4CS and whether or not she could still qualify. And another key is she hadn't filed the FAFSA yet. So, get her on that in a couple of days. She's going to have that on her financial aid package as well. So that number is even going to grow between now and open registration.
So if someone said in January, in March, whenever the case, I'm just not going to bother with the FAFSA, I don't have a need, I'm going to write a check for tuition, and now they want to be a part of this scholarship, they've got to back up and do that.
Correct.
But it's not too late.
Not too late, and that you just described this young lady's situation perfectly. And now she's going to get some aid that she wasn't expecting that could help mom and dad who
Sure.
was writing that check, and now those funds that they were going to send to the school might be able to go back into the economy, which I think is what the K4CS was meant to do to begin with. Part of the reason.
I'm staggered. I'm like a boxer who's been hit in the chin, and I'm staggered right now because that's a huge number.
It is.
When you think about that, nearly $700,000 has been awarded. This is just at the University of Pikeville.
Correct.
200 students, $700,000. Folks, that's not chump change. That's real money, and that's money that these students don't have to come up with. We've talked about non-traditional students, that money would come out of a family budget for someone to complete their education. But maybe it comes out of a hardworking coal miner's family's budget with a student who maybe is a first-generation college student. It's real money, and it's affecting real students. And I think it's a tremendous program, but $700,000 out there, 200 students, there's still more.
Yes, still more, still time. Young gentleman also was in the office. We were evaluating his transcripts to see if he was going to qualify. And there's still plenty of time. Registration is August the 16th and 17th, beginning at 8:30 in Booth. And kind of like what we would like for these students to do is obviously go ahead and have their FAFSA filed. If not a huge deal. We can walk them through that process. We'd also, for admissions, would like them to bring any post-secondary transcripts that they have in with them, so those can be evaluated to see if they qualify, as well as their high school transcripts, so we can see if they graduated from one of the 9 counties.
You're tuned to Where the 99 Lead. It's a program about the University of Pikeville, brought to you by the University of Pikeville. We're back in the admissions corner and talking with the Director of Admissions, Gary Justice, and also Matt Crisp, the Federal Work Study Coordinator and a financial aid counselor. Important people on campus this time of year, whether you're already registered for classes, whether you've already completed the FAFSA, regardless. If someone decides early August, classes don't start until I guess the 20th. They decide today, I want to go to the University of Pikeville. I've made up my mind, I've changed my mind, whatever. And they decide today that they want to attend the University of Pikeville, whether it's an incoming freshman or a rising junior with 60 college credit hours. They haven't completed the FAFSA. They haven't done anything. What are the next steps?
Well, Andrew, that describes a young man that came to the office this morning from Betsy Lane High School. Just woke up this morning, said, I want to go to the University of Pikeville. So come in. Now, hasn't even applied to the university
Right.
yet, but he did have his transcripts, from high school, from
Sure.
Betsy Lane. Comes in, fills out the application, gives us his transcripts. He's accepted to the university, adds us to his FAFSA with the help of Matt. He's got everything in place. He's signed up for classes he's coming this Saturday to get his class schedule.
Wow.
So basically just apply and make sure we're listed on your FAFSA. You're good to go at the University of Pikeville.
But as a parent, you hear FAFSA, Federal Financial Aid Application. As a parent, first time, didn't have a college student, didn't know what it was all about. I hear federal form and I think, okay, tax documents. It's going to take forever to fill this out. It's really not the case with the FAFSA. I think the last FAFSA that I completed for my middle child, it was a short amount of time, less than a half hour. How quickly can it be done if someone hasn't started the process at all?
It can be done very quickly. Like I stated earlier, I went out to a high school and we could have 10 to 15 to 20 students complete their FAFSA at one time within a 2-hour span. I mean, it's a very simple process. There is a few things that we need, which are listed on the back of our 001980 card,
Sure.
such as the tax documents and W-2 statements. That would be great if they brought those in. If not, those documents, a lot of students will come and they don't know what maybe a IRS transcript is or things like that.
Right.
We can estimate those figures
Sure.
and still get it filed. So it can be done very easy. All we need is a pen and an able-bodied student that's ready to earn a bachelor's degree in front of us. We can get it done.
And the cards that go out that have got the University of Pikeville and the federal code on there, 001980, when you go visit schools, those cards go out there with the admissions and financial aid counselors.
We're getting ready to order 10,000 of those for this upcoming recruiting year, Andrew, so every student will have one. So the parents watching the program say, no, well, we never did receive one. Be sure to talk to Johnny or Susie because they'll definitely have one in their hands.
And I would imagine you probably leave some of those behind with guidance counselors as well.
Also, we have, besides the guidance counselor, we also have some in our financial aid office. So if a parent says, I really want my son or daughter to stay close to home, they just want to pick up some more information. Because the back of the card it's a really neatly designed card because it tells you how to fill out the FAFSA, not just for the University of Pikeville, but for any school you want to go to. Of course, we have our school code on there to give your options to the University of Pikeville. But it's a great guidance card just like you was talking about. If it's the first time filling out the FAFSA, don't know how to do it, the cards won't tell you how to do it.
And when you complete the FAFSA, you can include more than one college or university choice as well, and you'll need to have the codes for each of those. That's why the 001980 is so important for prospective University of Pikeville students. Gary, let's talk about the extension campuses. It's a first for you, Pike. What are the locations? What will be offered on those campuses?
Well, it's very exciting to have the extension campuses. I know Governor Patton is really wanting to raise this baccalaureate attainment in our region, to bring more jobs to our area, especially with the job losses in the coal mines. And you start thinking about those miners who have lost their jobs. Now it's a great opportunity. Maybe it's time to get for a career change. And now with this K4CS, maybe they got some college credit already. They graduated from one of the 9 coal-producing counties. Now they can go to school in their backyard. Get into the southern campuses, we're going to have Bell, Harlan, and Letcher, all on the community college campuses. Got a little bit of change. In the north, we're going to have Johnson, Knott, and Floyd. So we originally was going to have some more campuses, but due to some technical issues and the classroom's not going to be ready yet, we're going to have those 6 campuses. Again, it's going to be Bell, Harlan, and Letcher, Johnson, Floyd, and Knott. And the class is going to be offered as business with a healthcare emphasis, and we're still looking at a criminal justice major as well.
And when is open registration for the extension campuses, and where will it be held?
Okay, the open registration is next Monday and Tuesday, August 13th and 14th. And it'll be on those campuses in those counties for the community college. We also have an orientation on August the 18th on the main campus as well, if they want to come to the main campus. We're actually encouraging students to come if they can. And classes begin on August the 20th, just like our main campus.
There you have it. Matt Crisp, Federal Work Study Coordinator, Financial Aid Counselor, thanks for being part of Where the 99 Lead today.
Thank you, Andrew.
And Gary Justice, Director of Admissions, always our pleasure. It is always a great time
To be a bear.
to be a bear. It's your time. It's your university, UPike.